Hi and welcome to today's video. I had recently visited Chennai and went to an art store over there near my house and picked up a lot of art supplies. Here is a box and I also picked up an interesting sketchbook. I'm very excited about this. So I'm going to show you guys all the things that I picked out. These are very different from what I normally pick because I thought when I've gone there, let me try some new things and let's see what all are there in that. So join me today in doing this small unboxing. Alright, so here are the things that I picked out. Let's open this and see what all is there. We'll start with this first, which is a very interesting sketchbook that I got. I have a ton of sketchbooks, but I think I can never have enough. So what I found very interesting about this sketchbook is definitely its color. Red is my absolute favorite color, so that was one reason why I picked up. Another thing is I like the color of the paper. So my desk, you can see here, is white and this is like a creamish color, which will look very good if you're going to do line illustrations with pen. So that's one of the reasons that I picked this out. I got this for INR 700. This is a brand called as Talons. You can also figure out if you can get this on Amazon. I'll probably leave a link in description if I can find it. So this has 80 sheets. It's about 90 lbs, which is approximately 160 GSM is what I think it is. So I'm excited. You can see over here they've made little illustrations and very quick drawings. So for urban sketching, I think it will be perfect, and also for your regular drawing practices. So I'm going to open this out and see how this is inside. Packed very tightly. So some more details. It is good for sketching, for pencil, for charcoal, chalk, graphite, crayons, ink and watercolors. So these are the things that you can use this for. The feel of the book is amazing. It just feels so good. It's almost like a leather finish. I think it is leather finish. It's quite nice and handy to use, and I love books which have this strap here. So I don't think I'll be able to keep this safe for a long time, so I might end up just not using this. So let's see if they have any other details about here, and it tells you the size. So the size is about 24 by 14 and 8 centimeter, 14.8 centimeter. So this wide is 21 centimeter. This is about 15 centimeter. So if I have to compare this with an A5 size, I will just show you very quickly what the size difference is. So here is an A5 size book. This is almost an A5. In fact, I think it's perfectly an A5. It's just very little over here, but it's quite compact and handy. So this is, if you have to buy this, then just remember it's going to be similar to an A5 book. The sheets are pretty thick. You can hear the sound. So thin sheets will have like a very different sound. Thick ones will have quite like a thick sound, like it will be a little hard to hear in the sense that you can make out the thickness. So this is how the sheets are. So, and there's also this, which is going to be useful if you're going to be making sketches, and then which page do you run to. So this is perfect for that. I'm quite happy. I'm not going to be drawing on this today because I want to use this for urban sketching, so I'll probably take it for my first urban sketch and then I'll put up maybe a small video of using that, but this is going to be perfect for that purpose. So let's now see what are the other things which is there inside this package. So the first thing that's come to my hand is this brush. So I am a big fan of brushes. I have so many brushes, but I absolutely love buying a lot of brushes because they are very useful for a lot of different purposes. This here is just about 12 mm. So what do I use this for? It's going to be very useful for me when I do my acrylic paintings. This is also very nice for varnishes and finishes. So you can see over here, this has got like an off-white color bristles for the brush over here, which is a little hard. It's not too soft. So for varnish, you have to be a little careful because you need a very smooth finish for it. So this may not work very good for varnish, but for painting, getting those small edges, it's absolutely perfect. And I got this for just about 40 rupees. The packaging of everything is so well done. So you can see over here, it's held together by this rope. So I'm going to just remove this. It's hard. Oh, that's perfect. So this is what the bristles are like. You can see it's a little coarse texture. So what it is also useful for is when you're making paintings and you want to create like a texture on your acrylic painting, these kind of brushes are very, very good for it. Let's see the next thing. So this is the other one, which is about 12 mm, the same thing, but you can see the difference in the bristles. This is a little darker. It's also going to be soft. So let me open and show you. This came off, which is good. I don't have to do the opening of that. So any extra hairs like this, you can just cut it off. Even in your regular brushes, the more you use them, you will notice that sometimes the bristles go here and there. You can cut them off. So this is much softer. You can see how it's so flexible. So the use of this is, again, mostly I use this for varnish. So I make a lot of paintings, and I also do a lot of DIY where I create these palettes and other small trinkets using clay. So for varnishing them, this is absolutely perfect. Going to the next one, and this. I am a big fan. I have looked for this kind of a mop brush which is completely round. You can see it's called a mop brush. I don't know if it has another name for it, but I love how the edges are. Like you can see how the round, it's thicker. It's not like your regular mop brush, which is something like this, where it is, the base of it is thick, and then as it goes up, it tapers. This is pretty thick throughout, like at least like the whole body is pretty cylindrical. Only in the top it goes a little bit like this. So the purpose for me to buy this was again for acrylic painting. I like to create a lot of textures and then shapes using these kind of brushes. So what will happen is I can just like take a dry paint and then I can just dab over it to create like clouds, for example. So that's one purpose of using a brush like this, and I'm so excited that I found it. I got this for about 294 rupees. So let's go on to the next one. Is another one of these round brushes. These are also, I think, called as the flat head round brushes. So I think it's flat on the top. So the difference between these two, you can see clearly over here, is this looks like it's been chopped off over here. This has a slight bend to it, like, you know, it's just coming together. So I found this very interesting. This is again very soft, so it will not create a very coarse texture. It will create like a soft texture. This is pretty coarse. All of their from this particular store, all of their white hairs are coarse, and this brownish hair is always soft. So this I got for 200 rupees and 280. So the biggest use of this in my mind currently is when I make galaxy paintings. I will be using this to create clouds. I also create a lot of beach paintings. So again, for the clouds and any texture that I want to create and I want to spread it around, I will be using this brush. We'll go ahead and find out the next thing. Is another one of these flathead brushes. It's called also as mop brush, and by the way, they have sizes on top of this. This says 22, this says 10, and this is 16. So I think these have very different values. Like the soft ones have a different sizing, and this coarse ones have a different sizing. I just enjoy having brushes of different sizes, and I think this is the first time that I'm getting these kind of brushes, and also they are so small and handy. So this is the way that I'm going to use them. It's not so easy to hold like a regular brush, which has like a pretty beautiful handle like this. So it's ergonomic. You can also hold it here, you can hold it here. So this is going to be interesting to try. So a miniature version of this big one, I got this for 130. In this particular one, I don't have the pricing, but The biggest size was 294, so I'm assuming this should be anywhere near 200, between 180 to 200. This one is for 130. It says size 6, and this one here is a size 10. Here are some paints. So watercolor paints, I can never get enough of them. I've been trying out a lot of different kinds of colors right now, like Penny's Grey, Naples Yellow, and they have become a part of my palette right now, which I am falling in love with. So these were some colors that I found interesting, so I picked them up. This is an indigo. This is a Camel Artis watercolor, and this is about 20 ml. I prefer these longer ones or the taller ones right now as compared to the smaller ones. And as individual loose pieces, you can only get these taller ones. They're really worth it because they can fill up your pans so many times, so it's a good investment. It's also not very heavy on the pocket. This is for 65 rupees. The next thing I picked is this. This is such a good buy. This is by William Mitchell. It's a reversible mapping pen. So initially I didn't know what this was, and I was pretty intrigued to understand what they mean by a reversible mapping pen. And the purpose of this, the story is I use a lot of dip pens, and mapping nibs are my favorite when I'm creating art. Unfortunately, what happens with mapping nibs is they do tend to break quite often. So what happens is I have to keep buying these base very often, and they become very expensive. So a couple of ones that I had broke. The nib, once the nib breaks, it's very difficult to take it out, and some of them rust and then the pieces stay inside. So I have to keep getting these bases. So when I saw this, I was quite excited also. It's not too expensive, it's for 330. The earlier one I got, it also had like a cap on top. I think it was for 1500. So I don't want to spend that much. So I was intrigued, and I will show you guys now what is so exciting about this. So when they say reversible, it literally is reversible. You just pull it out and then you can use it like this. So at this store, they told me that I can put ink through this, but you cannot, because this doesn't have like a hole for the ink to go through this. But this is a very nice buy, especially for travel. I am really glad I ran into this. This is called as a mapping nib. You can see over here that it has a groove, like a circle. This is where your ink gets goes and stores, and then it falls out of this. So you dip it every time into your ink, and then once you're done, clean it, close it, and store it. So this is a very good buy if you're somebody who is an enthusiast in terms of dip pens. I would highly recommend you to get this. Very easy for travel and not too expensive on your pocket as well. Go to the next thing. And here is another color. This is the Rose Matters Hue. I didn't have this color, so I decided to try this. The next one is the Cerulean Blue Hue. I do have it in the smaller packaging. I thought that I would require a bigger one, so since I was getting the rest, I thought, okay, why not this as well? I have one last thing, which is this, the Dom's Kneadable Art Eraser. So I am a big fan of kneadable art erasers because they do not leave any residue behind. So I do a lot of watercolor paintings, and you require these kind of kneadable erasers because if you use your regular eraser and erase something, there'll be a lot of dust, the eraser dust, and your painting will get spoiled. If any of the dust particles are remaining, then it will just become a part of your painting and it'll be difficult to remove them. So I love these, and Dom's is one of my favorite brands when it comes to trying these kind of really good art supplies at a budget price. So this particular one I got for about 55 rupees. So what I noticed is most of the other brands also have a similar price range, starting from I think 50 or 60 going up to about 100, 150 is what I saw. But I was excited to try this one because it comes with a box. I have never seen a kneaded eraser which comes with a box like this. So let's open this and see how it is. They last forever, kneadable erasers. I have about 4 or 5 and I still keep buying them. They don't get over. So here it says it's soft and pliable, non-abrasive, ideal for graphite pencil, charcoal and pastels. The tin is so cute. It's a good thickness of the paper, of the eraser, and I'm going to now show you how to use it and how to make it. So normal other kneadable erasers I've used, you have to take it, it'll be a little rock hard in the beginning. You have to literally knead it, and only then it is usable. So don't try to use your kneadable eraser right out of the packet that you have bought. This one also I think is a similar style only. You will have to knead it. Trying to be very careful with the packaging opening. I don't want to tear this. This is very similar. You can see it's a little sticky. So I have to knead it. So one way to knead it is you can knead it in your hand, just like Play-Doh. Think of it as clay. Just use it as a very fun thing. So this stage that you can see over here is the initial stage. So it looks like everything is breaking. So if you use it as it is, it will seem like everything is breaking and you cannot use it. So you have to knead it so it becomes to a consistency where this does not happen. So if I try to break it or if I try to pull it apart, you can see this consistency. You do not want that. So you knead it till this goes away. You can do it in your hand. You can also roll it on your table or just get like a back of any sketchbook and do it on top of that. So I'm just trying now with the hand. So you can see, the more I knead, now it's when I pull it apart, it's not tearing, or this kind of a thing is not coming so much. I've heard a lot of people who get kneadable erasers and then they tell me that, hey, you know what, I tried using it and I think it's gone bad. It's probably expired. Is there something like that? I don't think there's an expiry on these things. Like I said, I've been using kneadable erasers for a very, very long time, more than 10-15 years right now, and I've never run out of them. I've of course lost them, misplaced them, kept them in places, tried to find it and not found them, but otherwise it's never gone bad or I've never run out of it. So I'm going to try this here. It's another way. It'll be a little hard in the beginning. You have to knead it till it becomes really soft. The color might also start changing. I can see it's got a little lighter. While I knead it, if you are a new subscriber over here, and or you're somebody who's watching the video for the first time, then do consider subscribing to my channel. I put a lot of videos related to art supplies, art in general, and tips for beginners and how to draw, everything related to art. And if you are somebody who's already subscribed to this channel and there's something specific you would like me to show a tutorial on or do a review on, then do leave your comment here below this video in the comment section so I can have a look at that. So this is taking a little while, a little bit more work. My other brands that I've used is Cretacolor. There is I think some which have absolutely no brand names on it. I would just go and pick them up. They also do require a little bit of work, but this seems to require a little bit more than that. So you can see the form is changing. It's becoming a little more softer. I can hear the birds chirping at the back. Let's knead it a little more and get this ready. I'll show you an example of what it should look like. So here's a kneadable eraser that I've been using for a long time right now. I in fact split it into two halves because I wanted to carry a smaller piece. So you can see over here there's absolutely no, if I try to pull it apart, you cannot pull it apart. I'm trying really hard. So this is the consistency that we want to get here. So anytime you get a kneadable eraser, just play around with it. Just probably put the TV on and then just keep playing with this and it'll come into the consistency required. Don't throw it. These are very, very useful. So while I do this, I'll talk to you a little bit about these watercolors. So I noticed that some of the prices are different, like this one over here is 65, the other two are 75. So it also depends upon the pigment. So some of them will have like very high use of pigment, and that's why their price would be a little higher. It could also be the packaging. Some could be on a different year where the prices were different, some a couple of years later where the price may have increased for any reason. It's coming to form right now. It's really taking the shape. So now when I pull it, you can see that it's only the edges where it's opening up, but otherwise it's having a very good consistency. Dom's is a brand that I enjoy using the art supplies of. It's opened a whole new world for art enthusiasts, for kids, for beginners, to just get an idea of different art supplies, different mediums at a very, very pocket-friendly price. Alright, I did quite a bit of kneading and it seems pretty okay right now. It's still splitting, so it means I have to knead for another few minutes, and I think it may be even more. So what I'm going to do is delete this video. So I've got my kneadable eraser ready over here, and I can just store it inside this. This is a perfect storage, especially for travel, because when I use my other kneadable erasers, I end up putting them inside my pouch as it is. So sometimes they'll get stuck to the pouch and then I'll have to lose out a few pieces, or they'll get stuck to a brush or a pen or a pencil. So it's a little annoying. So I think that way this is a perfect solution again for travel. So what I really love about this entire art haul that I did in Chennai in that store is I got to get a lot of interesting things for travel art and like very quick solutions that I could find. So I'm quite excited about this entire purchase that I did, and I hope this was useful for you to figure out if any of these suit your needs for any purpose of art that you're creating. And I will see you soon for the next one. Bye bye.